of it. That's all right. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. We have one in the books as Harding took care of Southwestern in our first semifinal, a sweep 3-0. Oklahoma Baptist and Arkansas Tech in the second semifinal match. Let's get the starting lineups to you really quickly for these two squads. The number 2 seed from the West, the Arkansas Tech Golden Suns, come in with a record of 7-4 overall, 6-4 in GAC play. The starting lineup looks like this. Wearing number 6, Madison Grantham, a libero, a junior from Nixa, Missouri. Number 7 is Haley Palladini. She's a 6-foot senior from Fallon, Nevada. She is the right side. Wearing number 8, Caitlin Bradley, an opposite, a junior from Springville, Utah. Wearing number 13, Mackenzie Eford, a middle 6-foot senior from Glendale, Wisconsin. Number 14 is Addison Masters, an outside 5'11 junior from Norman, Oklahoma. Number 15 is Brianna Markle, 5'11 setter, a sophomore from Franklin, Wisconsin. And number 17 is Maggie Schleiter, who is a 5'8 sophomore defensive specialist from Georgetown, Texas. The Golden Suns are coached by Kara Dukic in her 3rd season at Arkansas Tech. Oklahoma Baptist is the top seed from the West, and rightfully so. Undefeated in GAC play at 10-0 and 16-0 overall. Starting lineup looks like this. Number 2, Tania Brown. She is a 5'8 sophomore right side or middle from Mesquite, Texas. Wearing number 4 is a senior, 5'10 outside, Malia Leatherland, senior from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Number 8 is Kaylin Ina, a 5'7 freshman defensive specialist from Grand Prairie, Texas. Number 10, Diana Carranza, 5'4 senior defensive specialist from Lima, Peru. Number 11 is Brenna Holly. Brenna is a 6'2 senior middle from Richardson, Texas. Number 19, Kaylee Buell, 5'9 redshirt junior setter from Ponder, Texas. And rounding out the starting lineup, number 23, Bria Ahito, 5'9 sophomore outside from Wiley, Texas. The Lady Bison are coached by Anna Howell in her 13th season. And I bring in now Stormy Leonard as she lets me take a breath from those starting lineups there. We've already had a solid showing today from Harding, and now another number 1 divisional seed, undefeated, coming in, the Oklahoma Baptist Lady Bison.
I know, and it's not just in the conference play. Oklahoma Baptist has had a chance to go outside the conference a little bit and pick up some really big quality wins this season and just kept it rolling. Behind Malia Leatherland, they're pretty unstoppable. She's a great outside hitter. She's smart. She can play both sides of the ball on offense and defense. So I think she's going to be a main contributor for the Bisons. But, I mean, I've been around Arkansas Tech volleyball all season, and I know what they bring to the court. They've got a lot of power across the board, and I think with the defense that they've added and the play that the libero Madison Grantham brings to the court, she's a really even kill player. She really keeps them balanced, and I think that she'll be a big factor in defending the powerful attack of Oklahoma Baptist.
You know, you mentioned that Oklahoma Baptist has had a couple of non-conference games. That's not been the norm. It's been pretty much a conference schedule for many of the teams in the Great American Conference. GAC in its 10th season this year. This is the 10th conference tournament, postseason tournament for this league, with schools from Oklahoma and from Arkansas. And we are getting ready to get things going. Oklahoma Baptist to serve first. Bria Ahito set to get things underway. Winner of this contest again will move on to take on Harding. Harding, the host team for the tournament this season. And our second semifinal match now underway. Tech with a quick set, and Oklahoma Baptist right back. Nice dig. Tip up, good save underneath. And well back, Ahito there to set this up and bring it into play one more time.
Great defense by Tech so far, but they're digging the balls, but they're keeping them. They kept putting them back to Oklahoma Baptist basically as a free ball, so that's how they're able to convert that and Brennan Hawley get that kill off the slide.
Yeah, Merkel was there a couple of times, you're right, for the dig, but Oklahoma Baptist with the better look, and the kill by Hawley puts the Lady Bison on the board first. That one goes a little too strong for Palladini.
I like that shot. That line shot is something Haley's been working on all season. She's super powerful, really able to attack the cross court as well. I think without the libero in the game right now, that left back line is something that she could shoot for.
And you're right, it did look like it was open too, just went a little strong. Better look now for Palladini, and she goes wide.
And I've seen it a few times this season. Haley takes a few points at the beginning to kind of settle in, but she's someone that Tech really depends on, that can keep them in the game, take control of the game. And 2 of her last games, she had career high kills, 20 and 22 kills. So she's definitely someone that can put the ball down for them.
Palladini, again, a senior. As that one bumped over and pushed back. There's that line talk you were looking, or line look you were talking about a little earlier. Malia Leatherland goes up and comes down with the kill for OBU.
And you saw that set drop in just enough to get on the inside of that middle blocker's hand, and she was able to cut it that sharp, sharp cross and get the Tech defender out of position.
We'll mention Leatherland's name, I'm sure, a few times. One of the premier players in the Great American Conference as Tech gets on the board.
Absolutely. I think if we had co-player of the year within the divisions, Malia definitely would have gotten the one on the West. She's an outstanding outside hitter, but someone to watch on Tech is Addison Masters. It's a player that has stepped up tremendously this year, filling that outside spot left open from last year's Allie Anderson. She's really kind of made it her own. She's very, very good out of system. So when balls aren't exactly perfectly set, Addie has an incredible ability to put topspin on the ball and find a way to hit off the block, hit between the block, hit within the block. It's pretty impressive.
Gracie Palmer has checked in for Arkansas Tech, hometown girl, freshman from Russellville. And the setter is waiting to get a new ball. The one she had apparently was not the one they wanted to use.
I'm guessing they've been really strict this year with the COVID precautions of just about how many balls you can have that are, I guess, in that level 1 aspect of who can touch the ball, and if they are touched by other people, you can't really have them on the court. So it's kind of been a mess when balls are flying everywhere, especially in warm-up, and if anything goes outside of the playing area, they've got to clean it off. Like, it's been some pretty intense cleaning protocols.
Yeah, one of my daughters and I were watching a match a little bit earlier this season. A couple of times the ball would come up to even where we were sitting, and I'd have to tell, both of us, natural reaction, we wanted to grab it and throw it back out to them, and nope, stay back.
Exactly.
Stay back. So Palmer now gets things going. First serve of the evening for Tech. And Masters had the kill on the prior point. This time it goes into the net. Masters with another opportunity. And a second, and this time the point is true. Arkansas Tech scores again, trailing out by just 3.
And I mean, just watching Addie swing, you see the amount of spin that she puts on that ball. It drops so much quicker than anyone else I've seen on the team. She knows how to snap her wrist really well, even out of system. Even if she's not getting a full swing, she's able to put topspin, and that's what drops it down in that backcourt.
Now we bring to you the Golden Sun, who is set to serve right now, because she has an interesting story from just today alone. Timber Riley in. The point goes to the Bison. Oklahoma Baptist back on top 6-2. Timber Riley, and she's had quite a day today, hasn't she, Stormy?
Absolutely. I guess this morning or last night, she went to Arkadelphia as a member of the softball team. Today played a game at 2 o'clock. Had the winning hit that put the Golden Suns ahead in their first game of the doubleheader. Immediately got in the car and made her way here and showed up at the game about 30 minutes or so before the actual game started, not even before warm-up, and is now on the court playing for the Golden Suns in her volleyball uniform. It's pretty incredible, and the way she's been able to manage it this semester has been something that I couldn't imagine. I mean, she's got volleyball practice, had straight to softball. On games that she's not playing volleyball, she's got softball games. Like, she's been an incredible balancing act, and I don't know how she does it. And to come in here and contribute on both teams at a high degree.
She's there on the serve receive, and Oklahoma Baptist, though, continuing to look good on the offensive side for Coach Anna Howell. The Bison up by 6, and we have a timeout taken by Coach Kara Dukic. We will go ahead and take it with them right now. OBU on top in set 1 on the GAC Sports Network.
In high school, people described me as bright,
hardworking, and dedicated.
That I had a big heart because I care about people and doing the right things.
Now, everywhere I look, I see an entire community just like that.
learning more,
Doing more,
and caring more.
A community of mission, Harding University.
Oklahoma Baptist on top in this one as Coach Dukic took a timeout to, I'll talk things over just a little bit. You don't want to let things get out of hand. Now this is a matchup similar to what we saw in our previous match this evening, in which teams from different divisions in the Great American Conference are seeing each other for the first time this season. Now this is the first year in which there has been divisional play in the GAC in its 10th season. That in large part due to COVID protocols and all that's gone into even having a season at all. That having been said, it's the first time these two teams have seen each other this year. Oklahoma Baptist, number 5 in the country and undefeated at 16-0, has really come out swinging, and there you see it again. And this is where, you know, for Arkansas Tech, yes, you want to weather the storm, but how much storm can you weather before you just really let it get away?
I think the biggest problem on Tech's side right now is our block. Does their block, it's just not there right now. The outsides are kind of having their way with them by hitting on the inside of the block. They're a little bit out of position to make a play, but up until now, the serve receive has been fantastic. They've really been passing up good balls. They just haven't found a way to put it down. And that was like that frustration I talk about, is whenever you're a hitter and you're taking good swings and they continue to dig, it kind of wears you down and you don't really find a way to score. And then by the time you do, it's a long rally, you're tired. So I think the Golden Suns are going to try to use a little bit more of what they like to call a first ball kill. As soon as they're in the serve receive, they get a kill on the first ball and they're done. They win that point and they move on. And I think that's something that they're really going to try to shoot for now that they've got the ball back.
Well, Eford and Merkel were there on the block. You mentioned that was an issue. They were there that time, wind up getting the point. Eford there with the serve now. And for Oklahoma Baptist, right back at it. For the Bison, Taryn Weber, a 5'9" junior from Prosper, in on the kill.
And you think of Weber as like an undersized outside. Even in Division II, about 5'8", 5'9", that's still considered undersized. You see a lot of 5'10", 5'11" at this level. But she's having their way with the block. Like I said, she's getting splits. The setter's doing a great job about getting that ball out quick. And so I think Beal sees that opening, as if she pushes that ball out quick to Weber or Leatherland, they're going to be open because the Tech block is just split all over the place.
Close to the line. They're going to keep it in, keep it playing. Riley with the attack. And that was an interesting take for Oklahoma Baptist, as Carranza brings it back into play. Instead of letting it go over the net, she brings it back in for Avery Helmuth. The point goes long for Oklahoma Baptist. Avery Helmuth, one of the strong players this season, the freshman middle from Dallas, Texas.
It looked like she got a little ahead of the ball. The ball was a little bit behind. Instead of getting that momentum to go down, she had it a little bit up, which kind of threw it out a little bit on that play.
Helmuth, by the way, the freshman of the year as well. And point, Arkansas Tech.
And that's the Haley Palladini that the Golden Suns want to see. Her ability to get up and over the block. Her reach is, I want to say, over 10 foot from when they tested. She is long and strong, and so if they can get her the ball outside and allow that split in the block, she's going to put it down.
Set back for Brown. Tech brings it back in, and once again, there is Palladini.
And it looked like Leatherland could have maybe let that go. It looked a little high, but as an outside, when you're back there and you don't realize necessarily your court position in the middle of the play, it's hard to realize where you are on that court to know if that's out. It could have been a really close call.
Another point for Tech, brings it to within 4 now. Oklahoma Baptist needs to send this over and do just that. Point to the Bison. There's Malia Leatherland. And Brown back to serve. That one's too strong, so Tech benefits. Get back to within 4.
We hit on this a little bit in the earlier broadcast, just about the size of this facility. And I know I've played in Oklahoma Baptist's gym. It's a smaller venue. It's not anything really small, but it's a little bit more compact than this big open space. And when you play in open gyms like this, your depth perception gets a little messed up until you get used to it. You think, okay, that's going in, that's going in. And just the amount of space there is in this facility, it's hard to decipher, okay, do I really need to put that much on it?
Helmuth, as it goes a little bit wide. Avery Helmuth, by the way, and you see her coming in on the right side. That one goes a little wide. One of 6 players this season for Oklahoma Baptist that received some kind of Player of the Week honor. Offensive Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week, Setter of the Week. And really spread the wealth. Well, Coach Howell looking for some kind of clarification there. I don't think she thought that ball was touched.
I don't know if it was, I think they called it in, so I don't know. And when it happens like this, if they call it in, I don't know if you can challenge a touch or if you have to just challenge the call in or out. So I'm not quite sure what they'll be looking at on this play.
There is a challenge, and I could not hear exactly what the challenge was about. So we look back really quickly then and talk about what has gone on so far. 4 first-round games on Tuesday, and then the quarterfinals played on Thursday, in which Southwestern and Harding, and then Oklahoma Baptist and Arkansas Tech, the teams here in Searcy today, each won their respective quarterfinal match 3-0 in a sweep. And Harding continued the trend a little bit earlier today with the 3-0 sweep of Southwestern Oklahoma.
I don't know if we'll necessarily see that trend in this game. Just looking at it this far, I think the teams match up really well. Oklahoma Baptist is a fantastic blocking team overall. Like, Harding did a really good job in this last semifinal of blocking, but that was the best blocking they've done all season. Oklahoma Baptist has repeatedly been a great blocking team. They've got big middles that are good at pressing over. They've got people on both pins that can block. And so I think that's going to be Arkansas Tech's goal, is to get around that block, tool the blocks, and really try to get away from their middles, especially straight up. You never want to get a solo with a middle going straight up, because they're more than likely going to block you, especially when they're as big as the ones on Oklahoma Baptist.
Well, Coach Howell did not get the benefit of that challenge. Hope to find out what that was. In the meantime, the point goes to Arkansas Tech. So it is a 4-point contest once again here in set 1. And the point goes right back the other direction. Ahito checks back in for Oklahoma Baptist, also in the contest for OBU. 5'5" senior from Cleburne, Texas, wearing number 1, Kelsey Chavez, in the game. And an ace from Ahito.
I think Oklahoma Baptist is another team that thrives off energy. You can see the bench going crazy. Even Coach Holly was going crazy just a second ago. They really thrive off that. They're a very loud and involved team in all aspects, on the bench, on the court, and their coaching staff, everything.
And a second ace, back-to-back points for OBU. Tech's going to call a timeout, slow things down one more time. The Bison, they are rolling here in set 1. Back in a moment on the GAC Sports Network.
Before the house, before the office, the late nights and new bosses. Before the last hugs, the wins and the losses. Before building the team, before building yourself, the rise and grinds, all day, every days. Before the letter, before the dream, there was a kid who loved to play. If you have the talent and dedication to succeed in school and in sports, we'll provide the opportunity.
Coach Anna Howell's squad has found some momentum here in set 1 over Arkansas Tech, up 7 points right now. The last time these two teams met was not this season. We've talked about that, coming from 2 separate divisions in the Great American Conference. It was last year in the postseason tournament, as Oklahoma Baptist went on to win the tournament championship, had to face Arkansas Tech, the 8th seed, in the first round. the quarterfinals, and OBU with a 4-set victory over Tech in that quarterfinal match.
Oklahoma Baptist, you know, with them becoming a D2 institution and joining in the conference late, they weren't able to be in the tournament in the first few years. But ever since they've made it, they have been a force. And even in the regular season, in those times that they weren't able to go on to the conference tournament, they still finished in the top 4 or 5 of the regular season play. So you knew when they got to the tournament, they were ready.
And it was a carryover from the previous days, as Oklahoma Baptist was a strong volleyball team in their time in the NAIA as well. And another point for the Bison.
And like I said about that serve receive passing early on for Tech was fantastic. They were able to get in system. They just weren't able to put it down. But it looks like now they're a little bit more in a system and not really getting Brianna Merkel a solid pass where she can direct that offense and have a few more options.
Nice dig for the Bison. Leatherland pushes that one over. And back the other way. Point, Oklahoma Baptist, Malia Leatherland.
That cut shot right there is almost unstoppable. And the fact Malia, again, crazy athletic, able to get around the block and above the block to see that that was open. And if she can keep making that shot, she's going to have a lot of kills today.
Well, she came into the contest with 128 on the season, averaging 3.56 per set. Another solid dig by Carranza.
Carranza's a workhorse. I remember watching her play even last year. She's not afraid to get down and dirty. She's going to make the tough plays. She's going to be the one you see running in the bleachers to save a ball, the ones running into the bench to save the ball. She is a workhorse. Nothing is going to get past her without her body on the ground. And she makes it look pretty easy.
The block for Oklahoma Baptist. And what a front line, too. I mean, we talk about the offense that Leatherland brings. She went up strong then, part of the block along with Brenna Hawley.
Yeah, you look at the blocks per set for the Bison. It's pretty intimidating. You look across and it's everyone. It's outsides, it's right sides, it's middles. It's
Leatherland once again on offense.
And they just don't have an answer for her. She's hitting inside the block. The block isn't adjusting inside to take that, because as a middle blocker, I know Mackenzie Eford can get up just as high as Leatherland, but she's not putting herself in a position to make that play right now.
Well, we interrupt your talk about OBU's defense to talk about the offense once again.
And when you can match the defensive intensity with power on the offense, it's a tough thing to beat. And I mean, there's a good reason why they haven't lost a game this season.
Another point for Oklahoma Baptist. Talk about them being undefeated at 16-0. 2 teams in the Great America Conference are undefeated still, as Harding won again today. And so Harding undefeated. 13 teams in all of Division II, 2 of them in the GAC. Strong hit by Eford. This one stays alive. And Tech, fantastic job, Grantham. You talked about her earlier, going down for that one.
She's another one that I would call a workhorse, but she's quiet. She's a very even, she's probably one of the most even kill players on the team, or even in one of the conference from everyone I've seen. Nothing really rattles her, even when she's diving to make a play, her face makes it look effortless. It doesn't look like she's straining that much. She's someone that the team can lean on to keep them kind of in the game and controlled. So I think they need to lean her a little bit more right now.
Another point for Tania Brown. And she also is starting to make this look easy. Brown with her 3rd consecutive kill. And at 23-9, Stormy, it's not a given that this set belongs to Oklahoma Baptist, but it's pretty close.
Tech just hasn't found any type of rhythm. Oklahoma Baptist has found a fantastic rhythm of just being able to take control of the ball on both sides. They're playing great defense, which leads to great offense. And so far, Tech hasn't been able to match that defensive effort, so it's not really leading into any offense. If anything, they're just out of system, getting balls over that they can, and never really having a chance to make a play on offense.
Well, Riley helps with that. Gets the assist from Emily Acker. By the way, Acker, a 5'7" senior from Denton, Texas. And Riley helps her own cause with the ace.
Yeah, Timber actually just started doing the topspin serve here recently towards the end of the season. It's a serve that's intimidating. It wins on intimidation. You think, oh my goodness, it's so hard, but being a volleyball player, having experience with that, it's one of an easier serve to pass, but it's got the intimidation factor of it's coming hard and it's coming fast. And so to put yourself in position to make a good play on it isn't always the easiest, but if you are and you put yourself in a position to make a play, you're probably going to get a good pass. But Timbers put some spice behind that serve here lately, so I'm excited to see where that will go and carry her in the rest of her career.
The point is credited to a bad set on the OBU side, but really, I mean, you know, you almost have to say that's not quite a service ace for Riley, but it was close.
And see, that's whenever she was able to get her body behind the ball in Oklahoma Baptist's system, as of right now, they're unstoppable.
Right.
Tech hasn't been able to put up a block, haven't been able to stop anyone on any pin. Their outsides have been doing really well. Their middles have gotten some good balls, but Kaylee Buell is just dishing it out. She has a million options because they haven't stopped any of them yet.
Set point here in set number 1. And a misplayed ball will give Arkansas Tech a little more life in set 1.
And again, this set might be out of Arkansas Tech's control, but if they can get some momentum here in the last few points, just take off a few points, get some good plays.
Another point, Oklahoma Baptist. This time it's for the set. Credit that one to Taryn Weber. Credit Oklahoma Baptist to set number 1. We'll take a break. Back with the second set here on the GAC Sports Network.
Southern Arkansas University feels like home and is dedicated to student achievement and developing a caring atmosphere both on campus and online. With more than 80 degrees in 4 distinct colleges and the School of Graduate Studies, SAU initiates new degree programs to fit the needs of career and professional trends of today. Visit us today and see why Southern Arkansas University feels like home.
How to spot a boll weevil. Boll weevils are a fascinating species. They're known to travel in packs, are highly intelligent, and can thrive in any environment. Each and every boll weevil is unique, and they have unique opportunities. But they all share one common trait. Every boll weevil has a bright future awaiting wherever they go. And that's how you spot a boll weevil. Learn more at uamont.edu.
Did you know
that 1 in 5 women are sexually assaulted in college?
that 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted as well?
That only 13% of rape survivors report assault? That 8 in 10 victims know their attacker?
In the Great American Conference,
there are over 50,000 students
with over 4,100 student athletes.
In the Great American Conference,
it's on us to stop sexual assault.
Anyone can be a victim.
Everyone can be a part of the solution.
It's on me
to give a voice to the voiceless.
It's on us
to give hope to the hopeless.
It's on me to take a stand.
It's on us
to make a difference on our campuses.
It's on you
to take the pledge.
It's on us.
12 schools.
2 states.
1 conference.
It's on us.
You know, ordinarily I might say that the fantastic hitting percentage for Oklahoma Baptist really sums things up as the Bison hit 353 for set number 1. I think the number that really sums it up then for the other side is the hitting percentage for Arkansas Tech. 0-0-0. Could not get anything going. 5 kills, 5 errors on 27 total attempts in the first set. Just no momentum, and Oklahoma Baptist came away with a big victory in set 1, 25-12.
And I think when you look at it, the fact that Taryn Weber is hitting 1,000 right now, 6 for 6, I think that's a little bit of a surprise to the Golden Suns. I know everyone puts a lot of pressure with Malia Leatherland. She was a former player of the year. She's a fantastic athlete. So a lot of attention is put on her and the middles because they've been so productive this whole season. So I think Taryn's done a great job for the Bison by stepping up and getting it done. But the Golden Suns have to realize, okay, there's other players on this Bison team that we need to stop, and that's the one they need to stop at the moment because she's got 6 kills. She's got more kills on her own than they do as a team. And so they've got to find a way to counter that and actually get in a rhythm. It just felt like they were all out of system and out of whack for the majority of the game, and they were just never able to get any type of run going.
No, that would make all the, well, maybe not all the difference. It would make a lot of a difference here. But as it stands, Oklahoma Baptist really showing themselves to be strong. The number 5 team in the country, 16-0 coming in, 10-0 in GAC play. Of course, one of the victories there, the 3-0 victory over East Central on Thursday night. That's how Oklahoma Baptist got here, the top seed from the West, defeating the number 4 seed from the West. Meanwhile, Arkansas Tech, the 2 seed out of the West, defeated the 2 seed out of the East, defeated the 3 seed out of the East, 3-0 in Henderson State. Service goes a little long, and Oklahoma Baptist will get a point and get the serve right back.
I like the aggression, but at this point after the first set, the first point you want to do, just get it over and in, put some pressure on their serve receive, but take care of it. And again, it's errors. It's 2 errors in a row. That's not how the Golden Suns want to start out. And they can't wait as long as they did in the last set to find their rhythm. They need to find it quicker.
When we talk about trying to go down the line, get a little bit too strong. And another ball pushed a little bit too far that time. And Oklahoma Baptist really hasn't had to do that much.
No,
and they've scored 3 points.
Yeah, all they're doing is putting the ball in play. And sometimes that's what happens. When you're on a roll, you don't always have to do that much. When you put pressure on teams and let them make the errors, and that's exactly what Oklahoma Baptist put the pressure on. And it wasn't even that much pressure. They were easy, solid serves, short serves. Again, Tech passed the ball well on serve receive. They just were not able to get anything going offensively off those.
Eford, after an error, comes away with the kill. And Tech is on the board. 3-1 the score here in set number 2. And so 2 service errors and 2 attack errors for Arkansas Tech have resulted in 4 points for Oklahoma Baptist.
And I think as a setter, Merkel has to see where things aren't working and kind of move away from that. You've got to adjust when things aren't working, especially when they didn't work as much as they didn't in the other game in set 1. See, she didn't do that in the first set, dishing it out to the outside with some pace. And so I think if she can see those things evolving and adjust with it, that they're going to be more successful. But she's got to step up into that leadership role as a setter. And then she is just a sophomore. I've seen great improvement from her from last year to this year, but I think she can still keep improving on the confidence in directing the offense.
The point for Tech, by the way, at the hands of Riley Vogt, a senior from Stratford, Missouri. And Tech follows it up with another.
And that play right there is something you will probably never see from another team in the country. That's with a middle blocker playing in the middle back, running a quick set out of the back row. That is typically only reserved for outside hitters, but Mackenzie Eford has worked on it time and time again in practice with Merkel and trying to get that quickness. And it kind of comes out of nowhere. No one expects a middle to play in the back row, make a dig, and be able to swing like that quickly. And so I think it's something that they can use over and over again.
Vogt going up strong along with Caitlin Bradley. They're able to be there on defense for Tech to knock this one up at 4 apiece.
And Caitlin Bradley usually plays in an opposite position, but due to some injuries and some things going on, she's in the middle this time, and she played a fantastic game in the quarterfinals. And she looked more comfortable almost in the middle despite not having played it this season. Being in middle, it's all about reaction. So all you got to do is react to the ball, So she is just everywhere, watching everything, trying to be there on the play. And so I think that helps her getting that quick. And she's able to float in the air. So I really want to see Merkel give her the ball as much as possible today.
You know, 9 points in. And every point right now has to do with Arkansas Tech. All 9 points. There have been kills and there have been errors. All 9 points really attributed to Arkansas Tech.
It would have been fantastic if Tech could have scored the 9 points for themselves instead of giving up 5 for the other team. And that's been something I've seen this season that they've struggled with a little bit. They're able to play with any team that they want to, but they err themselves out of a lot of games or even sets because they're giving too many points away. They're making a lot of points, but they're also just scoring too many points in a game. Like you said, they've already scored 5 points for the other team.
That's the first point that's gone. Really, to be credited, Oklahoma Baptist. Helmuth, by the way, with the kill for OBU. And the attack goes long. 7-4, Bison on top. Look back, by the way, this Oklahoma Baptist is the defending champion, Great American Conference Tournament. And I have to talk about how strong the season has been this year. And it has been that. Again, number 5 in the country according to the AVCA poll. And Vogt with the kill there. Last season was a strong season for Oklahoma Baptist as well. The trip through the GAC tournament, however, was, I mean, you might look at it and go, okay, well, it's a little bit easier because as Oklahoma Baptist was the number 1 seed, it was the only top seed in the tournament last year to advance. And so they're all lower seeds coming along. So Oklahoma Baptist defeated the number 8 seed, then the number 5 seed, then the number 6 seed, none of those other, top 4 teams. And so the path seemed to be easier. Not the case today, although they are making it look easy against the 2 seed from the west or the east.
And speaking of tournament play, you've got to look at it in the history of the GAC tournament. The number 1 seed is not fared well or as well as you would predict as tournament time. It's anyone's game, and I think the GAC tournament is a perfect example of that. And I mean, but last season Oklahoma Baptist was had a very, very strong regular season and carried that momentum into the finals. They played a young Harding team that, I mean, the Harding team pushed them to the limits last year, but Oklahoma Baptist had a little bit more maturity and a little bit more experience that kind of carried them through that. And you see it now too. They're very level-headed. Nothing's really having any effect on them. They're making plays and just getting it done and just forcing Tech to make the errors.
And we talk about even the young players, and Helmuth, she got the kill on the previous point, and she's there with the block assist and there keeping the ball alive, making a difference. She's been huge for this Bison team.
And I think Oklahoma Baptist does a good job about getting some of their young players in the game, getting them quality reps, and then allowing them to feel confident enough to take over games like Helmuth has been able to.
And there, credit her with another kill.
Sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this is one of those years, and I know the NCAA had made some adjustments. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take this conversation at the other side of the break. Oklahoma Baptist on top 10-5. We'll be back in just a moment on the GAC Sports Network.
The professors care and they go out of their way to make sure that you are going to succeed.
Hi, I'm Rolante. I'm a sophomore in Southeastern, and we help make this video.
Joey McWilliams along with Stormy Leonard here in our second semifinal match of the afternoon from the campus of Harding University here in Searcy, Arkansas. And Oklahoma Baptist already winning big in set 1, looking pretty strong here in set 2. The conversation, Stormy, and I look to you on this one, the NCAA, so many adjustments in 2020 and 2021. Thankful for a regular season, no postseason offered by the NCAA in Division II. Okay, that having been said, this is an Oklahoma Baptist team that with that, and I know that there are other options, and we can talk about those a little bit later as to what goes on even after this, but this is one of those years, if you were looking at an NCAA tournament, that you'd have to look at Oklahoma Baptist and say, wow, they have a chance to make some noise in the Central region.
Absolutely, and that's not something you could say in previous years just because the Central region in volleyball is unbelievably talented. You look at one point, there were 7 of the last 9 national championships coming from one singular team in our region. And so it's been hard for the GAC to compete at that level, but in 2018, Harding won their first match in GAC history in the Central Region Tournament. And I think that this year, Oklahoma Baptist really could have pushed to compete at that level, which we haven't seen before. and that we would like to see again for the case of our conference.
That's true. Weber with the attack is sent back. Vogt tries to find an opening, and she's going to wind up being the beneficiary of Leatherland going out to try to save that point to Arkansas Tech. And the Golden Suns, excuse me. Well, they're trying to stun some people and get back into set number 2.
Maggie Sleeter transferred to Arkansas Tech from Alaska Anchorage, where she was essentially a serving and defensive specialist. She literally had one of the best serves in the country. She really drives a float, and they've been able to rein some of that in this season to make it a little bit more consistent, so she can put a lot of pressure on them receiving serves. And then when you see that, they're really not able to get in system and be able to run the middle. They're really just depending on their outside, which is exactly what Tech wants, except the fact that the outsides of Oklahoma Baptist have been very successful today.
Well, how about Bradley with a huge block there? Tech now within 4. Tech now within 3. And Bradley once again. Give some credit to Palladini on the block assist. And Arkansas Tech coming back here in this second set. But Bradley right there in the middle. She was the lone force on the previous point. She got by with a little help from her friend on that one.
Like I said, putting Bradley in the middle was necessary due to some circumstances. But, I mean, she's kind of making it her own in the last 2 games. Just in that one, she's so good straight up and down just like that. She's got long arms, she's tall, and she really has worked on pressing over. And so you see that in that last play. There was nowhere for that ball to go from Leatherland. It was going straight down.
Tech had a 3-point scoring run stopped just then by Oklahoma Baptist. And that one goes long.
And again, I talked about Palladini. She is a force to be reckoned with, but right now she's a little bit off. It looks like the set's coming off a little bit off the net, and so instead of making sure she's behind the ball, she's a little in front of it, and that's kind of getting that up trajectory instead of the way that she can put it down with some force. And so I'm hoping that the setters will make a little bit of an adjustment and get her a better set.
Helmet. And the other day, Palladini.
And that shot's just not going to score against Carranza. She's too good of a libero. If you give her the ball right there, right in front of her, she's gonna make you pay.
Point Oklahoma Baptist. Leatherland strong with the attack.
That was really
Arkansas
impressive.
Tech was there, but it went a little wide.
Leatherland attacked that perfectly. She saw that she's got a big block, and she went on the outside of the hands. And even if you are right-handed on that right side position, going against that outside of your hand is hard to control.
Ina reached in and got maybe a fingertip on that ball. It was enough, though, and Tech gets the point.
That's Timber Riley's favorite shot, that deep corner shot. And a lot of times it challenges a libero. Most of the time a libero can make the play, but they're also diving in between their middle back, which makes it a little bit confusing and not as easy to control.
Opportunity here for Tech. And it's blocked. They'll get one more shot. Palladini finds the corner.
And that's a shot that she's going to need to make. She doesn't need to make the short tip. She needs to push it down the line and get Carranza coming up and making that middle back play that ball all the way to the sideline, which is a tough ask because they're also covering the entire backcourt.
Serve for Tech. Madison Grantham. It goes a little long.
And Grantham's got to rein that in. She's the leading server for the Golden Suns, and so she's got to be able to maintain her serve and keep that pressure, because when she applies it, she's really successful. She can't really afford to miss those serves because there's someone that she's someone that they count on to make some points from the service line.
Ahito with the serve for Oklahoma Baptist, and that one gives the point right back the other direction. Now, we said that Oklahoma Baptist is the defending tournament champion from the 2019 tournament. Winner of this game will play the tournament champion from 2018. And Harding, who's moved on from our first semifinal match this afternoon. That'll be tomorrow, championship. And Leatherland, well, this time she went to the inside. You talked about her going outside last time. She goes to the inside this time.
And honestly, Eford could have gotten that block. she was there, she got her hands on it, but again, so much of blocking isn't even how high you are, it's how far over you're pressing. So a lot of coaches will even teach, don't worry about jumping your highest or reaching your highest, worry about how far you can extend your arms over the net without touching the net. And I think Eford's gonna have to focus on that if she wants to be successful.
Strong volley now as Riley tries to find the place once again. She doesn't need to. It'll be Merkel.
And the key to out of system setting, especially when you're not a setter, keep your hitters off about, they say 5 feet off, 5 feet in. And on that ball, it was too tight. So you see, if you can give them space off the net, they can see shots to make. But if you put them too tight, you're risking injury and you're risking them being in the net and getting blocked. And I think that's something that Oklahoma Baptist messed up on that play.
Leveland once again. It's interesting to watch her description, how she's coming in on the outside and going one way or the other. And she's really making those defenders have to make decisions up there really while they're in the air.
And the thing about Malia, she's also doing the same. She's going up, not necessarily choosing exactly what she's going to be doing, but she has the ability to make those changes mid-air. And so that's when you see, she saw that she was going to go cross, and then you see her at the last second turn off and turn away with the ball to take it off that outside hand of the blocker. And that just shows her maturity and her athletic ability. And Malia is one of the best outsides in the conference. And she has great body control, and she's really able to tell the ball where she wants it to go and not vice versa.
Oklahoma Baptist got an early lead here, and they've just been keeping Arkansas Tech at bay in the second set. But the Golden Suns are creeping back in.
Something I selfishly want to see from either team, and this is something that I loved to do when I played. If somebody tips you the ball in the middle of the court and you see their whole team sucked in the front part of the court, someone needs to shoot it back over. I'm telling you, if an outside hitter ever tipped to me, I would shoot that right back over. And I wish they would see that that was open, because everyone's getting so scrunched in the court. That deep part of the court is wide open.
Well, that one goes too strong that time for Weber. And Oklahoma Baptist is going to take a timeout too. So we'll let Coach Anna Howell talk with her team as Arkansas Tech is back within 2. And we will be back on the GAC Sports Network.
Character, culture, and Christ have been the motto for Southern Nazarene University for many, many years. When I came as president, I was really curious about those words and really curious to dig into the archives. In fact, a conversation on campus one day with a visitor to our campus who asked that same question: what is character, culture, and Christ? Creating culture. Certainly when we graduate students, they go out and they create culture in classrooms. They create culture in churches. They create culture anywhere they go.
The Golden Suns closing in now here in set 2, and have to think with the way that Oklahoma Baptist has been playing this season, and even for the most part of today, this is a set that Tech really needs to win.
Absolutely. When you take that 2-0 lead over someone, you kind of get a little bit of power, because you know that even if you drop down one set, you've still got a lot more to go. But what a block by Bradley, and she is pumped. And everyone, because she hasn't played as much this season and she's kind of gotten her spot in these last 2 games, you love to see the team celebrate her. They're excited for her and she's excited for them, but it's fun to see them, start pushing her back and hyping her up, knowing that she's got a spot right now.
And that really is one of the fun things to watch about athletics, collegiate athletics specifically, the excitement that is on the court right now. Yeah, and really, I don't know that you can say too much about what that Arkansas Tech front line has been doing to get the Golden Suns back into this set.
I think that Caitlin Bradley has kind of established herself just now by being a presence in the middle. So as a setter, Kaylee needs to realize she's got a big middle blocker, and they've been successful away from the middle. And if they want to continue to be successful, that's what they're going to need to do.
Placement, great set, excellent kill.
And you see Tech's defense kind of settling in a little bit more. They're making some plays, but really you just see a lot of pressure being put on the Bison with serve and defensive plays. They're not getting the perfect passes. They're not getting the perfect swings.
There's that front line again. Helmuth and Oklahoma Baptist with a much-needed point of its own.
Yeah, it looked like Acker bailed just a little bit. As a setter, you want to release early. If you think that somebody else can get the ball, your goal is to take that second ball. So you want to get out of their way early, but it looked like she might have left just a little bit early, and had she stayed back there with Timber Riley, they might have been able to cross and pick that ball up. So she's going to have to just delay her release just a little bit.
Well, a nice job that time by Tech and by Vogt specifically. I think that's something also that's really big, Stormy, because as much as Bradley has done here in this set, I think there's only so much you can ask of her, and there's only so many places she can be. She's shown a lot of movement on the front line, but they're going to need some help like that kill from Vogt.
And as a middle, you can't contribute, or you can contribute, but in a different way. As an outside, you are involved in almost every play. You know, and so you're either passing or hitting. And so as a middle, Bradley's going to try, and she's only got 3 rotations. If some outsides get to play 6, Bradley's got to make her impact quickly and efficiently in her 3 rotations up there. But Vogt has a little bit more opportunity across the front line, and she's a utility player, honestly. Vogt is a fantastic right side and outside hitter and can hit from all places across the net.
Well, right now, I think she's a magnet for the ball. I mean, it is just finding her. She's finding it. She's in the right place at the right time. This has become a tie contest that is no longer tied. Arkansas Tech has taken the lead.
And you see them kind of switch it. So in the beginning, you know, Oklahoma Baptist was putting the pressure on Tech. They were relaxed on their side. They were just literally waiting for Tech to make an error. And I think that's Tech's kind of flipped the script now and really forcing Oklahoma Baptist to make those errors that they were making early on.
Tied up once again. Weber puts that one in the right spot.
And that was a perfect set from Buell. You saw the pace behind it. She gets it out there quicker, and because Bradley doesn't have as much experience in the middle, it's hard for her to make it all the way out on that block. And Palladini, as good a blocker as she is, needs to realize that and move that block in just a little bit to cover that space, because she's really just trying to hit into that split. And if Palladini can drop that left hand in there, she's going to get a block.
That one stays alive. Palladini with another chance and makes the most of it. And really, the first look wasn't her best look anyway. Oklahoma Baptist fortunate to keep that particular ball alive, and Palladini really made the most of the second opportunity.
And you saw the block at Oklahoma Baptist in the first set pressed so well. We talked about that. They pressed through the ball and over the net. Right now it looks like they're kind of going a little bit straight up and allowing that ball to almost come in between them in the net when they have every opportunity to press through the ball and not let that happen. But right now it looks like they're a little bit far off and taking themselves out of a position to really secure and line out that block. But again, Madison Grantham with a serve. She's one of the best servers on the team. She's got to keep that in play if the Golden Suns want a chance to take this set.
Ahito back to serve for Oklahoma Baptist. Knotted up at 21s here in set number 2. Eford taps that over. And Leatherland sends it strong. Point.
And you saw Grantham put herself in position, great position for that ball. So they've kind of gotten burned a little bit when Leatherland was going on the inside, in between the block and on the inside of the middle blocker. But Grantham positioned herself perfectly to see that that ball was going out.
Megan Solberg, sophomore from just down the road in Conway, Arkansas. Tech with an opportunity. Timber Riley. Oklahoma Baptist keeps it alive. Another look now for Tech, and Solberg has to send it across. Leatherland pushes toward the corner. And there is Schlueter.
You know, this is a little bit tougher offensive look for Tech. They only have 2 true hitters with the setter up front row, and so it's kind of hard. They don't really have an out of system. Like Riley took that ball and didn't really have anywhere to go. And Oklahoma Baptist has a little bit more options because with Leatherland playing all the way around, she offers that back row attack when they have they need a scapegoat or something to get the ball over, and Tech just doesn't really have that right now in this rotation, which could cause problems if they can't stay in system and get the ball to Eford or Timber.
Holly comes out. Audrey Poupard, a sophomore middle from Salina, Texas, checks in. Eford sends it strong.
And you see that set, it's coming off the net. So Eford is what you would call a tight runner. She runs tight with the ball. And so when that set comes off, she's already out of position because she puts herself closer to the net naturally. So they've just got to make sure that they put her on the net to take a good swing, because everything right now is behind her and she's not getting to fully extend her approach and her arm swing, so it's not really having any power behind it.
Arkansas Tech took the timeout, and so that gives Coach Dudkich and her staff an opportunity to talk just a little bit. Her team trailing now 23-22. With the momentum having shifted as it has. Now, granted, Oklahoma Baptist does have the 1-point advantage here in set number 2, but it is clear that Arkansas Tech did not go quietly into the night there in that second set. They've come back. They've made it a contest here.
And looking for the longevity of the match, they really do need to take this set. It is so hard to come back down from 2-0. It's not that it hasn't ever been done before, but you don't have a lot of room for error. And because Tech has been a higher error team thus far in this match, they can't really afford to drop this and not give themselves any breathing room. So I really think that these next 2 points are crucial. Tech really needs to make it to 23 tied up and really get that 24th point that enforce the pressure on the Bison to, quote, like, not mess up. They don't necessarily have to, Tech doesn't necessarily have to score on those if they can force an error out of the Bison.
Right. Well, you know, and you talk about that one word, and that has been probably the key to this second set. If Arkansas Tech were to lose this set, especially as close as they've made it right now, you'd have to look back at the errors and say that really was it from, you know, start of the set even to the end.
Exactly.
Oklahoma Baptist, the serve, up 23-22. Eford, there's Riley, tries to find an open spot. We have a double. That is the call. We have a double hit on Oklahoma Baptist. And so it's tied at 23. Riley to serve.
That was an interesting call. It looked like she did. It was just kind of out of position. She was just trying to throw her hands up. I don't know if she even got 2 hands on it, but I mean, that's the call that they go with, and Tech catches a break, and they put Timber Riley back there where they can really put some pressure with the serve.
Well, if nothing else right now, any kind of quick serve or quick momentum has been shut down with the conversation from Coach Howell.
Absolutely. And it's funny because sometimes you see coaches, and this is not, I don't think this is the case because she is arguing a true call.
I mean, it's,
but I'll even say it, shout out to Danny Prescott, because if he needed us to take a little break and it was a little late in the game, he would have a discussion with the ref here and there.
Riley to serve now. Key point here in set number 2, and she gets the ace. Well, you talked about the dangerous service from Riley, and she can put pressure on it.
And that was her best serve I've seen all year. Because topspin, you know, it doesn't have a lot of float. It doesn't have a lot of change of direction. When they hit it, that spin takes it exactly where they're facing. That one almost looked like it had some side spin and kind of took a little curveball action on Carranza, which Carranza is a fantastic serve-receive passer and really good at taking those hard-driven balls, but that got her out of position pretty quickly. That's a pretty impressive serve.
It really was. The second service ace of the evening tonight for Arkansas Tech. Puts the Golden Suns now at set point here in set number 2. Coach Howell took a quick timeout for Oklahoma Baptist, and I think we've about exhausted all the timeouts.
I think so too. And again, now Tech has the upper hand in the sense that they just have to put pressure with this point and force Oklahoma Baptist to give them the ball back if they don't score on the serve, and they have the first opportunity to get a kill out of the defense. So I know that they're really trying to put this pressure on them and keep them out of system so they can get a free ball or an easy ball to put back into play in this set.
Here's Riley once again, coming off an ace on her previous serve, set point for Arkansas Tech. And she gives it back. You know, Stormy, we've talked about this before. Sometimes you just have to take that chance. It worked on the previous serve, doesn't work then. Realistically, no harm, no foul. It's tied at 24 now, still have to win by 2.
And again, you want, like you said, you want to take that risk. She's got a great serve. She's put pressure on them all day.
Leatherland is there in the backcourt. Poupard gets the kill. Oklahoma Baptist now with set point. That was a tough position for either team to be in. Poupard got the better end of it. Set point, Malia Leatherland to serve. Vogt.
Incredible defensive play.
Gets it back. Another opportunity for Vogt. And there once again is Oklahoma Baptist. Weber. Riley into the net. Set 2 goes to Oklahoma Baptist. Wow.
What a turn. And I mean, that's just, it does kill your momentum as a team, as Arkansas Tech. It's just a kind of a punch to the gut, but you know you were competing, you know you were there. It's just those errors at the end and at the beginning that really kind of add up, and you take, like you said, you take a look at it throughout the game and you're like, okay, we cut out 1 or 2 errors and we win that set.
So Oklahoma Baptist has a 2-0 advantage here in this semifinal match. Winner goes on to the championship tomorrow. We'll be back with set 3 on the GAC Sports Network.
As a student athlete, I've been challenged both in the classroom and on the field. Between the education that I've received and the relationships that I've built, my time at Henderson State University has prepared me to live ready.
Running outdoors, you got to take what nature gives you. We'd like to say we run when they don't. So we want to give you products to be able to run when you don't think you should run, when it's pouring rain outside, it's snowing. We're going to have products for you to get out there. You don't get better sitting on your butt not training. You got to get out there and run.
At Under Armour, it's always about premium textiles. They need to perform, they need to be the best. The merging of hybrid textiles with naturals and new seaming and bonding and super sleek, modern, fast, futuristic designs, that's where we are really going to turn it up a notch. If you look good and you feel good, you're going to perform better.
Fun. It's a good day. It is a good day to talk some volleyball here in Harding.
Absolutely. I'm just glad we have the opportunity to, you know, in the fall, we didn't really know if they were actually going to do a season. I know a lot of conferences actually opted out of doing so. I'm just happy to see that the girls do get a season, even if it's not a complete season and it wasn't, you know, there's not a lot of postseason opportunity, they still get to play.
No doubt. It's even if it's April, it's one of those things we're used to seeing folks, you know, in Hot Springs somewhere in November and getting to see the GAC family as it is. And, you know, I've called a few of your games from Hot Springs. That's, I don't know if that's saying I'm old or you're young or some combination between the two. It's nice, though, to get to visit with some of the GAC family here and just get to see some folks, even at a different time of year.
And I think all the players would just be saying that they're thankful that they got a season. I know it's really important to the seniors. There are going to be seniors from every team that are moving on and not taking that COVID year. So I think it was important to get them at least some semblance of a season to play.
Well, the season is going to come to an end, at least the regular season, postseason tournament time for one of these teams here in just a few moments. Will it be Oklahoma Baptist with a rallying comeback from Tech? Because that's what it's going to take as the Golden Suns are down 2-0 here in this semifinal match. Winner of this contest goes on to face Harding tomorrow afternoon. First serve is set for 2 o'clock here on the GAC Sports Network. In the meantime, there's Coach Anna Howell with her Oklahoma Baptist team trying to move to 17-0 on the year. The number 5 team in the country serves and just gets over the net again twice. And you know, one of the things about Coach Howell with her lineup right now, some of the same players at the end of set 2 staying in now. for set 3. Poupard with the kill to give Oklahoma Baptist the first point.
And I think that's a good decision by her because they had the momentum. So they were down a little bit. They made the change. They found a way to win. And so you want to continue that momentum in this third set because Tech could come back. They have every possible need and way to get up there. And so I think that by keeping those same players in, she just kind of wants to keep the same flow of the game going.
Tech on the line once again. A good job on defense for Arkansas Tech, forcing that one wide, and they get a point. This one's knotted up at 1 apiece.
And I think the block, even if they don't block it, if you set up and you funnel a hitter either to a defensive player or outside the court, you're doing your job. Just like serving, when you just want to put pressure, you don't have to get a block every time. As long as you set up correctly and have the ball funneled to your defensive players or the spots that those players are in, you're successful.
Leatherland, and it's set up by Riley the other direction.
And Vote's going to have to adjust that shot just a little bit. Right now, she's kind of just cranking it right at the libero. Well, the libero's in that jersey for a reason. Those straight on, even if they are tough, those are the plays that they're supposed to make routinely. So she's got to find a way to get her either reaching to her left or her right if she wants that to score.
Riley now serving.
That was close.
It does. Goes beyond the back line. You know, we talked about some of the errors in set number 2, and just as a point of clarification, too, between the two teams, you know, we mentioned, and I know I did specifically, I won't put it all on your shoulders, Stormy. I mentioned the errors from Arkansas Tech because they seem to add up quickly in the early going. Between the two, though, Tech, between attack errors and service errors, Arkansas Tech had 13. Oklahoma Baptist had 11.
You saw that shift that we talked about.
Yeah, but one of the things, though, that was worth mentioning, Tech had 6 service errors. 6. So that was, you know, that makes a difference.
And that's one of those things that when it's service errors, especially like we talked about, and the ones in the net, you're not giving yourself a chance to get the ball back. At least if it's floating out, you can maybe get someone to think it's floating in or dropping in, and they're going to make a play. But the service errors, again, it doesn't even have to be an ace. It doesn't even have to be any pressure, but you just have to give yourself a chance to make a point. And if you're making errors, you're not cutting yourself any slack, and you're not giving yourself a break.
Hits the antenna, so Brown's attack will result in a point for Arkansas Tech. Golden Suns doing, again, a fantastic job there on the front line.
Absolutely, and you see it when Bradley's up there. It's even if she doesn't have a direct effect with that play, she's putting pressure and making her presence known, so they've got to move around her. And that's a fantastic serve by Eford. Her and Grantham both have the incredible serves. The way Eford's able to float that and drop that in is pretty impressive as a middle, and for her to be able to stay in the game and play defense is pretty awesome for a middle blocker.
We said that we felt like that Tech had to win set 2 to really stay in it. There's no doubt that Arkansas Tech needs to win set 3 now. They're doing their part. Oklahoma Baptist gets that point, 6-3. Ena checks out as Weber comes back in. And Leatherland to serve.
And this is that rotation that Tech has to get out of pretty quick because they only have 2 attacking options. Merkel can count herself as an option, but she doesn't have a lot of places to move the ball around.
Well, it was misplayed at first by Poupard, but she's a part of the block assist there and gives Oklahoma Baptist the point.
And in volleyball, it's so funny because my coaches have always said, never stop until you hear the whistle. And that is a perfect example of that. It looked like they were going to have the point, but because it was that first ball attack, they were able to rebound and get through it. You just got to always stay engaged in those points. And that's something that Oklahoma Baptist did.
Well, Vogt made the adjustment that you were talking about. Oklahoma Baptist able to get there. Now, Vogt tries to find the back line. Poupard will get the kill. Bison working their way back into this one. trailed 6-2 just a moment ago.
And it's again the service pressure line. Fantastic set from Merkel, but Vogt has got to move that ball away from the libero. She's hitting right at her and not really forcing her to make any type of move, just like Weber did there with Grantham. In order to be a libero, you have to make a move, and they're still really good when they move. So if you're going to hit at them, you've got to aim high or to their sides, and that neither side is doing very well at that right now. And if they want their outsides to be effective, they're going to have to make a change.
Well, you were talking about Vogt changing things up. She's done that in the last couple of points. This time she comes away with the kill, and Arkansas Tech back on top by 2. Well, that was a fantastic dig that time by Carranza, and Oklahoma Baptist with the point now back to within 1 in the serve. Look at Carranza on the afternoon as she's leading everyone in this match with 16 digs, has 3 assists as well.
She has been everywhere, and that's what I'm saying. They're also making it not easy on her, but they're not making her work as hard as you would hope because they're hitting right at her. And she's such a good libero. Even when you make her move, she can still make plays. But if Arkansas Tech wants to take this set, they're going to have to find different shots away from the girl in the green jersey.
That was a nice shot that time for Arkansas Tech as Timber Riley finds just inside the back line. Back to a 2-point lead. And Carranza can't dig that one out.
Perfect swing by Palladini. That's the way that she has a very incredible ability as a right-hander to turn the ball down the line, and that is something very, very difficult to do on the right side with a right hand. She's able to manipulate her body and get it all the way back around the ball and let it cross her body completely to make that shot. And if she can continue to do that, they're going to score some points off of it.
Well, a double call will allow them to have another point here. Seeing a lot more conversation now going on the sidelines, both sidelines, particularly now Oklahoma Baptist sideline.
And as a setter, I would appreciate my coach saying that, because if the ball does slip through my hands, regardless if it's my fault or sweat or anything, it is nice to just have a change. That's not the same ball. You get a new one, we're good. I just know it confused the Tech players just a little bit.
Helmuth goes up, but there once again on the front line for Arkansas Tech is Caitlin Bradley.
And you see the smile on Bradley's face. It says it all. And even with Timber Riley looking back at her and smiling, they are so excited for her to get that and get this play time. And it's just fun to watch them get that excited.
Arkansas Tech up by 5. Back in a moment on the GAC Sports Network.
When you think about college, it's easy to think of intimidating things.
Like the large campus and classrooms, big books, and big tests. But when you get here, you realize that it's not just about these things.
It's about the people.
The people who pushed us to succeed.
Those who struggled and achieved with us.
It's about finding our place.
And living and learning with people who care about you.
This is home.
Arkansas Tech has really come back into this, I believe, in large part due to the play of not just Caitlin Bradley, although it is led by Caitlin Bradley on that front line, the defense, and it's totally different for Oklahoma Baptist. Now, this is a Bison team that hit .353 in set number 1. Here in set number 3, they're hitting negative .067. And a lot can be said about what Arkansas Tech has done there on the front line.
I think they've found that adjustment on the block that I talked about them needing in the first set. The Bison offense was kind of having their way with them, just being able to make shots around every part of the block, because either the block was split, the block wasn't closed, or the block was out of position. And now that they've kind of put some sealant on that block, it's been a lot more effective. And there it is again.
There it is again. Tech has doubled up OBU.
And again, it's that pressing. So in the first set, Tech had no pressing whatsoever on the block. They were going straight up and down. The ball was able to all hitters were basically able to use them. And so now they've really shored that up.
By the way, don't want to forget Timber Riley on the block assist, both of those last 2 points. Didn't need it this time.
And I think Acker saw that. So I believe Emily Acker has very high volleyball IQ. I know where she played in high school, where she played in club, and now that she's been at Tech, and you kind of see her grow. She has very good court vision. She knows that she's used Riley and Palladini a lot across the front line, and no one's really expecting the ball to go to Bradley, and so she knew that was open, and she took advantage of it.
Acker there that time with the dig. And Riley also keeping this one going. Oklahoma Baptist will benefit, get the point this time because of player in the net. But even the momentum from that point was heading Tech's direction.
It was, and I saw Coach Dukic say, you know, Caitlin, you're a middle blocker. But in that sense of the play, Riley was kind of out of position, so Bradley felt like she had to make a play, and then it kind of just puts him out of position, even in the serve receive, and they have to dial it back in to keep this lead.
Well, it's a lead that's been up to 7 for Arkansas Tech. 2 straight points for Oklahoma Baptist now. As Brown to serve. We get the error, pushes that one too far.
And like we talked about that switch, you know, Tech has found a way to force errors on the Bison's side, which is something that we didn't see hardly any of in the first set when they only made 4 attack errors with 16 kills, you know. They're really keeping them out of system and not giving them easy plays to make across the net.
Keeping that alive is Riley, and Eford sends it across. From the back line, that one's too strong.
And I don't know if you can hear it, but if you hear a screeching similar to a screaming noise, that's Eford. She has been known for it all season. And some people ask me, you know, Stormy, why is she making those, like, what is she doing? She's being an effective middle blocker by attracting all the attention to her, making all middle blockers stay with her, thinking she's expecting the ball. So what that does is that freezes that middle and opens up the pin hitters to only have one block, which is the goal. And what you want to see as a setter is knowing your pins have that single block. And Eford goes above and beyond the call of duty to attract attention to herself as a middle blocker.
Ina to serve now. Another great job on the front line. Block assist. And now an opportunity for Riley. And Tech should get another opportunity here.
I really want to see Acker give the ball to Eford. She has gone to the pins, and I think it's open, and they haven't used her. And Eford's the most efficient hitter on the Golden Suns team this year. And I know that she struggled a little bit in that first set, but she's gotten a lot more comfortable. She's blocking really well. I want to see her get an opportunity to get the ball, especially if Acker's off the net a little bit. Force the ball to the middle, and it'll catch the defense off guard.
That time it was the Oklahoma Baptist defense that moved and got in place.
And that's what I'm talking about.
There you
Acker
go.
saw that, and in that serve receive pass, you want to give that ball to the middle. And especially if she's a little bit off the net, a lot of setters make a mistake of setting the middle on a perfect pass. Most middles on defense expect that, so they stay with their middle blocker. But if Acker or Merkel can be a little bit off the net and force the ball to the middle, defense are not ready for that.
Solberg serve as Tech has a 6-point advantage once again. Oklahoma Baptist.
That was an impressive swing. The way she was able to get on top of that and reach over the block was impressive. I haven't seen that from her today. And so she was way above the contact of the block and was able to put that in that deep part of the court as Schlueter kind of came a little shallow, but I don't even know if she could have made a play on it if she was all the way back just because of how well that ball was swung on.
Well, you talked about it for Jerica Frierson. That's her first kill of the afternoon. Give her second.
And that's what I like to call a finesse kill. She knows she took that deep part of the court, and the defense is going to kind of adjust to that. And as they should, she's going to mix it up and drop that short ball in, and it's an automatic kill.
Timeout as Tech still has a 4-point advantage. We'll take it to. Back in a moment on the GAC Sports Network.
We see you. Your incredible potential and willpower set you apart. You're first to take that leap of faith. First to get to work. First to solve the problem. No burden should be carried alone. We'll be there. Every step, day, challenge. First is your destiny. We get it, because first is who we are.
Coach Anna Howell talking with her team as the Bison are back to within 4. One of the things that stands out to me a little bit here now in set 3 is we're seeing some of the players for Oklahoma Baptist. Coach Howell's bringing in some faces that we hadn't seen yet in this match. I mean, we saw Audrey Poupard come in late in the second set. We're seeing now Frierson with a couple of kills now. She's seeing a little bit more action. And, you know, Coach Howell can go deep on her bench. She has a very quality bench, but we just didn't see it in set 1, maybe because they had so much momentum.
I think that, and it just shows how well she's recruited that team. She's got multiple people in every position in order that can come in and immediately step in that arguably would start on other teams in the conference, but they're so deep that they can afford to mix those around and afford to take Malia Leatherland out, which is on any other team might be unheard of, as she's a former conference player of the year and has been contributing and leads a team. A lot of teams can't afford to have that player out, but with how well she's recruited, she's really kind of stacked her bench.
Kaylee Buell got the kill that time. And nice job by Ina, that one keeping it alive. Frierson try for another one. Defense is there. It's a nice point. And it's going to go to Oklahoma Baptist.
And Frierson is doing an amazing job of mixing up shots. She's not keeping the same shot and has mixed it up almost every swing that she's taken. And so it's hard for the defense to really react to that or balance that out because she's changing it up on them every time. She's not being predictable. And I think that that's something that they might have been missing a little bit with Weber and Leatherland, so she stepped up and made that happen for them.
Eford, back to keep that one alive. Here's Frierson. And that one didn't make it over the net. You know, look at the lineup right now on the court for Oklahoma Baptist really quickly. Of that lineup, the only starter was Buell.
Yeah, Buell and then the libero. And I know Chavez was in a mix.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and just think in the conference tournament semifinals, you have a bench deep enough and experienced enough that you trust them to come in and make these plays late in the set. Is pretty impressive.
And they had a 4-point run, actually, too.
And right now, Oklahoma Baptist looks to be making a little bit better plays on the first balls. And so they're able to kind of get a little bit in system more than Arkansas Tech is in that run that they had. And so the Golden Suns are going to have to settle in a little bit and start getting those first ball contacts a little bit more in system so that they can run their offense.
Tania Brown checking back in for Oklahoma Baptist as Buell will serve. Bison down by 2. Vogt, that's just a strong play.
It is. I hope that Acker can lift up a little bit. So the last swing that Eford really swung at, it was a little low. If she can, and sometimes as a setter, you see that things are open and you want to make things faster. And sometimes that gets misconstrued as lower. I've done it throughout my whole career. And so faster, it doesn't mean lower. So Acker's going to have to raise that up just a little bit to give them a little bit more room.
Brown and Bradley is there. Bradley. How about that? Caitlin Bradley.
And what a play by Acker, someone who has not played front row the majority of the season, not to get a block for a point, but to just keep that ball on their side, and then leads to a play by Bradley. But Acker even is looking at the bench with her hands up like, yeah, I got that block, just because it doesn't happen often.
Her third kill of the afternoon. She's hitting .333 on the day. Let's go back to Tech up 16-10, okay? Oklahoma Baptist had a 4-point run. Get back to within a couple points right now. Tech back in on top by 4, and you get that lead. It gives you a little bit of flexibility. Then you don't have to just keep adding the points. Even if you point for point with Oklahoma Baptist, you're still going to make it to 25 first.
Exactly.
At that pace.
Exactly. If they can just keep some space in between them. That's all you got to do. It doesn't even have to be a lot of space. Just enough space.
And that one just inside the line.
And it was crazy because it almost looked like there was a little bit of mistiming. The ball was a little bit higher than Bradley expected, so she actually jumped and was already on her way down, but she's strong enough that even on her way down, she's able to push that ball deep, which is pretty impressive because you think as your body and gravity is pulling you down, all that strength that you have to push forward is lost, but Bradley pushed it back there.
Back-to-back kills for Caitlin Bradley for Arkansas Tech.
And that's really the only time you ever see Caitlin Bradley out of position is when that ball speeds up just a little bit. She's great up and down and pretty good laterally, but when you put lateral with some speed, because she doesn't have a lot of experience in the middle, you see it kind of may be a little bit more difficult. But I think if you see Poupard hit in the middle, straight up and down, that Bradley's going to be there.
And Poupard has come alive here in the second and third sets. She has 5 kills. But 5 is the difference between the two teams right now, and Arkansas Tech is just 4 points away from taking set 3. The timeout on the court, we'll let them talk about it. This one favoring the Golden Suns at the moment. Back on the GAC Sports Network.
At East Central University, we educate and empower students to transform the world. We provide an exceptional hands-on learning experience with professors who really go that extra mile. East Central University encourages students to become who they are meant to be while making lasting memories. East Central University, welcome home.
The 5-point deficit that Coach Howell's team faces right now, it's just about what it's been for the bulk of this contest, or excuse me, of this set. Set number 3, Arkansas Tech trying to stay alive as Oklahoma Baptist has a 2-set lead here in this semifinal match. Winner moves on to take on Harding in the championship match on Sunday. Just need to get that advantage like you talked about. Keep a little space.
Keep the space, and also Tech has struggled this season with finishing a set. They get to the point, I saw it against Harding, they were up 24-22 in the 4th set to win the match. They allowed them to come back. And then when you kind of lose that momentum that you had, that 5th set's up for games for anyone. And so Tech has to find a way to secure this win in as little as points as possible.
We have a double called, and so Tech gets another point, 3 points away here in set 3.
And we talk about that depth on Oklahoma Baptist. The fact that there's another setter besides the setter that led their team to a conference championship on the bench, and still have someone as competitive as Buell in leading this offense. She's leading the conference in assists per set, so it just shows they've got depth after depth in every position, something that's a luxury that a lot of other teams in the conference and the country do not have.
That much is certain. Oklahoma Baptist now trailing by 5. The Bison, in 16 wins this season, have won 11 by way of the sweep. And Arkansas Tech is doing its part to say it's not going to happen in game 17.
And when you think about it, the way that Oklahoma Baptist played in that first set, you see why they sweep. If they can keep that pressure on, even a little bit dialed back in 2 more sets, it would not be surprising if they swept everyone they played. But now that Tech's put that pressure on them and forced them to make some errors and not be able to pass the ball as well, is something that they need to continue to do to push this match to 5 sets and take it.
We're seeing a lot of the faces now that started this contest for Oklahoma Baptist rotating back in. Need 7 points here in set 3. 1 point at a time, and for Arkansas Tech, the same thing. 1 point at a time, just 2 away from extending this contest.
A little miscommunication. It looked like the setter was on one page and the hitter was on the other. And again, that shot from Palladini, it's seriously so athletic, and I don't know if people that don't play volleyball can understand how hard that is to control your body enough to have the patience to wait for the ball to completely cross your body and still come inside the court and hit the ball away from your body. And that's Palladini's shot.
Found the corner very well. Set point in set 3.
That And that is a perfect shot from her. You see the triple block go up. And with that being said, when you have when you have two defensive players, Madison Grantham as a libero or the setter can ease up just a little bit, especially when they see that triple block. The likelihood of a ball getting past that, hit hard, is not likely. So the tip is going to be open, and it was a great shot by Weber, but the defense has to recognize when that block goes up, they have to cover that.
Second set point here. Opportunity now for Oklahoma Baptist. And the point. Frierson with the kill.
And that's so frustrating as a defense. It's almost, you'd rather get hit in the face, hit off your body or something, to know that that was a good hit, that was a good swing quality. I'll take that, I'll take hard hitting. To score on tips is so demeaning on a defense because your momentum falls back with your body and you're not able to make that play when they're easy shots that could be picked up.
Here's a chance for Riley. Give her the point, and the set will go to Arkansas Tech. No sweep tonight. Oklahoma Baptist on top, 2-1. Back in a moment on the GAC Sports Network.
What does it mean to be a Ranger? It means smaller class sizes, so you're seen and heard. It means graduating debt-free, like over half of our students. It means getting help when you need it through financial aid and scholarships, like more than 80% of our students. To be a Ranger, you're rowdy with excitement. To be a Ranger, you care about your education. To be a Ranger, you saddle up to a challenge and ride to success. Rowdy lives here. Rangers live here. Northwestern. Success lives here.
Character, culture, and Christ have been the motto for Southern Nazarene University for many, many years. When I came as president, I was really curious about those words and really curious to dig into the archives. In fact, a conversation on campus one day with a visitor to our campus who asked that same question: what is character, culture, and Christ? Last but certainly not least, in fact, I would put it first, and that is serving Christ. I like the fact that it's last because it does undergird everything that we do. Our responsibility, I believe, more than anything else, is to serve our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Arkansas Tech has come back, and they're going to push this thing a little bit further. Hope you're enjoying watching volleyball tonight. Stormy and I are.
I'm having a blast. I couldn't imagine a better way to spend my Saturday night. And that is not actually being sarcastic.
Coach Kara Dukic is enjoying watching a little more volleyball herself, too, as her team has taken this one to a fourth set in the second semifinal tonight. And you know, we talk about some momentum shifts and all of that. We look back to the latter part of the second set and then into the third set. It's a play of Caitlin Bradley for Arkansas Tech, who on the night now has 9 block assists.
She's been everywhere across the net, and I think I would like to see her be a little bit more involved on the offense, but on the defensive front, when she is up there, she has become a presence, and I think that has it plays a big factor in why Oklahoma Baptist made a lot of errors in the last 2 sets. Even though Arkansas Tech didn't win the second set, they still forced a lot of errors out of the Bison. So I think her presence in the middle alone, regardless if she's making touches on everything or not, is crucial in really playing a role in how the Bison are reacting to it.
Megan Solberg to serve for Arkansas Tech. as the Bison are getting everything set on the Oklahoma Baptist end. By the way, one of the interesting things about this, and I know this has happened some over the course of the year with the COVID protocols and all that, teams aren't switching sides, so that's kind of a little bit of a different feel.
It is, and it kind of forces you to control what you can control a little bit more, because sometimes, you know, they'll be like, oh, this side has more momentum, or this side, we play better on this side, but you don't really have that option. So it's a lot more in your control.
First point goes to Oklahoma Baptist, Malia Leatherland.
And that's something they missed in that third set. She wasn't on the court as much, and I think that going away from her wasn't necessarily a mistake, but she's someone that you can always count on to get a kill, whether it's in the back row or the front row. She's a player that is dependent on in all aspects of the game on the defensive and the offensive side. So taking her out might not bode well for them.
Vogt sends that one into the net, and Oklahoma Baptist with too quick. The errors for Oklahoma Baptist mounting as well. Had 8 errors on their attacks in the third set. And that was just a nice shot by Vogt. Excuse me, I believe that was Riley.
Yeah, that was
Riley.
Timber Riley. The thing I like about Timber is that it's funny for me to think that she's undersized, because she's not. But with the block on the other side, they're big, and so she's being smart enough and going around and over and off the top of those hands. And what a block press from Eford and Vogt. You saw Vogt extend probably to the max amount of her vertical will let her, and she pressed all the way through that ball, blocking it back into Poupard, which is pretty impressive because Poupard was swinging it, bounced right back at her.
She was. Leatherland. That one's tipped around. It wasn't hit a 4th time. It would have been. Point Oklahoma Baptist.
And what happens sometimes is, as a blocker, you are trying to press through that ball, and sometimes that press goes a little bit too far into the net, and so you can't really get mad because you want them to press through, and you'd much rather that happen than probably get tooled inside you. But the blockers just have to be a little bit more careful.
Eford is there. Nice dig by Carranza to keep it going. And the Bison will grab another point here in set 4.
And Merkel's just got to realize, when the ball takes that long to come down for her to swing, there is going to be a blocker there. So maybe not swing all the way through, because all that Leatherland had to do was go straight up. So maybe trying to get a little bit more movement on that ball.
Riley this time from the right side. And Oklahoma Baptist will get another opportunity. Carranza again. How about a second shot for Leatherland? She makes it count.
And again, they've got to press through that block. So right now it's coming off the inside of Eford's hands because she's not pressing all the way through. And those are balls that they can make blocks on and keep it on the Oklahoma Baptist side, but they both got to press through at this point.
Vogt. And that one's long. You know, I talked about Leatherland and some of these other players. Let's go back, even mention this again. 6 times this season, 6 different players garnered weekly honors from the Great American Conference. We'll talk about that when we come back after this time out of the GAC Sports Network.
It's your moment. It's your moment.
It's your moment.
For Coach Anna Howell in week 1, Deanna Carranza was the Defensive Player of the Week in the GAC. You move on to week 5, 2 players in Malia Leatherland, the Offensive Player of the Week, and Audrey Poupard, the Defensive Player of the Week. How about week 6, 2 players again? Malia Leatherland, offensive, and Audrey Poupard again, Defensive Player of the Week. Week 7, Tania Brown, Defensive Player of the Week. Week 8, Julia Brenton, Defensive Player of the Week. Week 9, Avery Helmuth, Co-Defensive Player of the Week. 6 different players, and we talked about all of the players for Oklahoma Baptist, what a deep bench it is. I mean, the GAC recognition there goes a lot to say that.
And I think the fact that Oklahoma Baptist was able to get a few more opponents outside the GAC and some quality wins, you can't look away from that. And when you see those stats, they're against quality teams. And again, they'll get them against the GAC, but you look at those, and there's a lot of names coming from Oklahoma Baptist. It's not a repeat of people. And even in the Defensive Player of the Week, you've got to look at, okay, that's some blockers and some defensive back row players on that. It just shows that depth that Oklahoma Baptist has people at every position that are capable of winning those awards.
Acker able to get a point for Tech and slow down the Oklahoma Baptist run. And this point is going to be well earned, no matter who gets it. Turns out to be the Bison.
And on that said, what Tech has to do in that position, they gave 2 free balls when they were high enough as a hitter, even as with Eford in the back row, they were high enough and in good enough position. Those 2 have to at least take a roll shot, take something more aggressive, even if it's a tip shot, take something more aggressive than a free ball for the Bison on defense. Because at that point, you're just basically giving them a free point.
Riley from the line sends it past the back line.
And again, this is that. With Riley in the back row, that does help. But again, they only have 2 hitters up on the front row with them right now, and that makes it difficult for that setter to have someone to dish the ball to.
Vogt taps that over. And a strong play from Frierson.
So that was a back row attack. Her foot was on the line when she made contact. She wasn't able to take off before, so then Tech gets a point through that.
Yeah. You know, I have to give her even a lot of credit. I had thought that she was just going to try to just put it back over. Instead, she was aggressive.
And that's what you need to see on the Tech side as well. That ball was high enough. She was going to take a swing at it, and I think the Tech needs to find a way to do that as well. When the balls might not be perfect sets, they've got to put a little bit more pressure with the swings, or even a tip. Like I said, you just got to change it up. It can't be a free ball because that's a free point.
Gianna Carranza now to serve for Oklahoma Baptist. Wow. And put a little English on that ball to get it over the net. Tech staying consistent, getting it across. And that one went wide.
And with that serve from Carranza, you see she's keeping it away from the libero. I think that Tech has served the ball too much at Carranza. So they've been able to stay in system because she's a fantastic defensive and serve receive passer. And so she's done a great job of keeping the ball away from Madison Grantham, but the Golden Suns have given the ball to Oklahoma Baptist's best passer every time. And just like that on that tip, they're not keeping it away from her.
Palladini switched things up a little bit. Oklahoma Baptist had the answer, but the other direction, Weber gets the point. And a timeout, Arkansas Tech. Bison up by 8 on the GAC Sports Network.
I've heard people say Ouachita.
Wichita.
Achita.
Ouachita.
Is it pronounced Ouachita?
Searching for Ouachita Baptist University.
Back in Texas, everybody pronounces it Wichita, but really, it's Washita.
Washita. Washita.
How would you pronounce it?
Washita.
Washita.
It's Ouachita Baptist University. Get it right.
It's Washita, people. It's Washita.
Washita.
Momentum favoring Oklahoma Baptist here in set number 4. You know, Malia Leatherland nearly with the double-double tonight. And the thing about that is, Stormy, I don't feel like we've seen her that much.
No, she took quite a break in between that second and into the third set. But you look at it, when she comes back in, look at where the Bison are now. She has that effect on the game. And so if I'm Coach Howell, I'm not taking her out again unless I absolutely have to.
She has 10 kills and 9 digs to go along with an assist and a couple of blocks as well.
And you look at Buell has 38 assists. she has found a way to direct their offense pretty seamlessly and just finding open. You look at all their kills, it's a pretty spread out offense. There's not, I mean, yes, Weber and Leatherland have 11 and 10 kills, but you look, you got 6, 6, 5, 5. She's doing a really good job of spreading the ball around, which I think is why they've been effective.
They have been that, as Carranza's serve was just a little bit short, so the other direction, Schlieder serves things, gets him going. A little bit of confusion on the Tech side.
And sometimes when you're down and you've got a little bit of, not nerves, but just tension and feel a little bit of pressure, you start making plays that you wouldn't normally when you're playing lax. And I saw a little bit of that on the Golden Suns side, is everyone's kind of trying to do too much, when if you just focus on your role in the game, things go a lot smoother.
Weber on the attack, but Tech has the answer. Timber Riley, we've talked about already today. She's had quite a day trying to keep her team in it. And you have to give credit to Riley with that, because of the dig, went strong, came back, gave an opportunity for her teammate for the kill.
Absolutely, and I think Acker did a good job of, she sees that she wants to shoot that ball out and get that middle blocker away from a double block. But again, faster does not mean lower, and she's gonna have to find that mix.
Palladini has 6 kills on the afternoon, a 3-point run for Tech. It comes to an end right there. The Bison get the point. Taryn Weber, by the way, leading all this afternoon with 12 kills.
And I think that might be a little bit of a surprise to the Golden Suns and those watching, is that Taryn Weber, yeah, she's a fantastic outside hitter, but so much attention has been put on people around her that today she's been able to step up and shine on her own.
Weber averages 1.96 kills per set on the season. She's a little bit better than that this afternoon.
And that's what I love about the tournament, is that anyone can win, but also anyone can step up. And I think that Taryn's answered that call of realizing they needed some consistency from right off the bat, and she took that spot.
Grantham to serve now. Tech back to within 6 again. And the Bison get another point. You know, the space that Tech created in set 3 that they were able to keep is what it looks like we're seeing from Oklahoma Baptist here in set 4.
Tech hasn't been able to push or run, and honestly, that was a great swing by Weber, but the Golden Suns should have blocked that ball. They had a triple block up there, but they're not pressing through, so it went right in between them.
Over the line. Acker was there, and her momentum carried her a little bit too far.
It looked like she might have been able to save it because she took off behind the line and looked like she had some body control, but her, like you said, her momentum carried in that leg split, trying to keep that balance split a little too far.
Kaylin Ena now for Oklahoma Baptist. Ena was in place, got some help from Carranza. And well, the line judge says, hey, Helmuth, what'd I do to you?
And sometimes, you know, if it hits right at the line judge's feet, you can count it in, but if it's at their hips or above, it's 100% out. I don't think she really appreciated that.
No doubt. Opportunity here, Leatherland back in the game.
And that's that ball that I was saying. Somebody could have shot that over to the deep part of the court because it's so open. Everyone's so scrunched that the deep part of the court is open, and Malia Leatherland just found that.
Found it on the other direction where it was open just the same for Tech to find an Oklahoma Baptist in. You're exactly right. There's a lot of overplay going on right now. And is that a part then of this being the fourth set? They really feel the intensity there that maybe some players are getting a little bit out of position, overplaying just a bit because they feel it.
And like I talked about that tension, you feel that there's a lot of ways to channel good energy, and sometimes that energy, even though you want your players to have it, you want the team to have it, but when it's being construed in a way that is over the top and putting you out of position, getting a player to do too much and kind of overcrowding an area when you've got plenty of people to take care of that, I think both teams have seen that become an issue by trying to do too much when really they just need to settle in, play their role, and let their teammates do the rest.
Service error for Riley, and it's back to an 8-point advantage now for Oklahoma Baptist. Second time here in this set number 4. Defense is there again for Oklahoma Baptist. Back-to-back times. Coupard, Leatherland at the line for OBU.
And what a block by Brown. I mean, that was better than textbook. That was like a revised version of a textbook, how well she pressed over and took the momentum of the ball and shoved it straight down.
Nice dig.
And even with a lead, you don't see the Bison let up at all. They're still going all out on the defensive end of the court.
Nice dig on the other end, that time by Solberg. Brown. And Riley's there as well. Eford, now she found that spot, but Ina was there once again. She's staying home. Point Arkansas Tech off the double.
And you see, I like the idea of her pushing it deep, but one of the most open spots on the court is a deep tip to right back. The setter usually doesn't play that deep, and middle backs typically naturally shade towards the left because a lot of people aim at that spot of the court. So I think if Eford can push it to the right back corner, she's going to find success.
Well, there's Ina, and the freshman from Grand Prairie, Texas, really has played her role well today. Back into the net, point Oklahoma Baptist.
And that's kind of like that doing too much we talked about. Merkel is a fantastic setter, and she can swing, and she's good at dumps. She just got to realize the flow of the game. Again, she hasn't been successful on that aspect of the game yet, so go with what the flow of the game is allowing you to go to. And I think as she matures as a setter, she's going to find that a little bit more, but she's still making younger decisions. And I think that it'll be a lot of fun watching her develop that and realize that and learn how to direct that offense with a lot more confidence.
Here's another freshman for Oklahoma Baptist, Jerica Frierson. She can't bring that one in, but she's had a good afternoon as well. Arkansas Tech gets another point. Winner of this game moves on to take on Harding tomorrow afternoon. If it's Oklahoma Baptist, it would be the two previous champions meeting in 2021.
This is a rotation that Tech wants to stay in, so they need to make sure they make a good play on defense and stay in this rotation and just get as many kills out as they can.
Frierson's there that time, and she's going to need to send it over. Does just that. Palladini goes long.
Looks like we're going to have a challenge for arguing a touch.
Not surprised by that. You know, that was one of those plays, too. Really, that long hit, going back to Frierson, I mean, Riley was a little bit out of place. It did not allow Tech to get in system that time, and even Palladini's attack there seemed to be a little further back than what she wanted.
And see, that's, again, the doing too much. Riley kind of delayed her reaction to the ball, even though it was a pretty routine down ball that Timber can make a play on every day. But she's kind of waiting, and it's almost like she's second-guessing on who's going to go. There was a little bit of hesitation between her and Acker, which delayed her response and reaction to it, so she waited a little bit long, and then that, like you said, it put her out of position on a routine ball that she can make a perfect pass, and they can get that set to Palladini the way she wants it. But because the pass didn't really put Acker on the net, you see how it kind of snowballs into not making the play as best it could be.
It's in other words, it's the little things.
It is. And it's crazy how things can snowball into it. So the goal of a setter is to always make the pass better than what you got it. In the same way, the hitter to make the swing better than they got it. But at that point, Acker did what she could with the pass, but you just want to see everything get better, and it kind of just stayed the same on that all across, from the pass to the set to the hit. It kind of stayed routine, and it needs to find a way to get better.
Oklahoma Baptist and the fans for Oklahoma Baptist who've made the trip from Shawnee and thereabouts all the way to Searcy, Arkansas, just enjoying some time.
Like I said, they thrive off energy in their crowd. And I've seen them in the conference tournament. They are a rowdy bunch.
Lots of green and gold and
yes,
white.
Absolutely, lots of green.
Has there? I'd have to check with Scott Good or Nathan Looney, who, by the way, shout out to Nathan Looney. He's taken quite good care of us today here on the campus of Harding University. But I have to give a shout out to see, has there ever been this much green and gold in here to overpower the black and gold from Harding? Because I don't see that many Harding fans here.
Nope, not anymore. I think they were, earlier in our first match, but this place is known for having some spirit, so I highly doubt there has ever been this much green and gold.
A little bit of blue there on the monitor right now. That's all right. Little blue and black.
I tried to be neutral.
There we go. All right. Well, I'm neutral in this game. Point, I'm neutral in all the games.
Yeah. I'm neutral in tournament sense, absolutely. I'm working for the Great American Conference and not anybody else.
No.
But I was like,
by the way, if you can't see it, this is my GAC blue, and then I have some GAC red, I have some GAC white. So point, by the way, to Oklahoma Baptist. And so, any kind of momentum, that's a little bit of a momentum killer. The Bison up by 9. 4 points away from moving into the championship match tomorrow. Boat trying to find the place. Carranza is there, doesn't give it to her. Brown, she finds it for the kill.
And again, the libero wears that jersey because they're the best defender and ultimately the best passer. Tipping right into their breadbasket is not going to score. What Boat could have done is sell the tip short and push it deep over Carranza's head because all of her momentum is coming forward.
Well, by the way, you talk about the player for Tech that's had all the defense at her disposal today. There's another kill for Caitlin Bradley. Couldn't have come at a better time.
And I wish they could have given it to her more. I think she's been very successful with the opportunities she's given on the offensive and defensive side. So as a setter, I would look to feed her the ball. You feed the fire until it goes out.
The ace. And Schlueter.
With the sass.
Point. Yeah, that's right. Little bit of sass too, walking up there. She was fired up, and she should be. And hey, listen, you need to do something to get life into your team. It's a good way to do it. Brown, and the defense again for Arkansas Tech. I don't know what more you can say about what Bradley's done on the line. I mean, I've seen some very good performances in the GAC tournament, specifically offense, specifically defense. This is one of the better defensive performances I've seen in this tournament.
And with me covering Tech volleyball, I know the way that she's just stepped into that role. It's not something that she's played all season, but she's making it look like she's been a middle blocker her whole life. And so it's pretty impressive that she's been able to adjust that quick and be that for them.
Oklahoma Baptist has won 16 matches this season, trying to get one more and are at match point right now. Looking to meet up with the team that calls this court home. Tania Brown serving for match point. Nice dig by Riley. Palladina. There's the set, and Helmuth can't get it over. Another point for Arkansas Tech.
It looks like that timing just a little bit off, and it'll be good for Helmuth to use this spring season to propel her into the rest of her career at Oklahoma Baptist. She's already made a name for herself in the lineup, and she's just going to keep improving, keep improving.
Match point. And there it is. And how about that? Kaylee Buell, who's had a fantastic afternoon, albeit maybe a little bit quiet. We've talked about some other players here and there. Buell, with her second kill of the game, it turns out to be the match winner. Oh, by the way, she's had 42 assists to go along with it. The near double-double with 9 digs, but it was the kill that put Oklahoma Baptist over the top and will send the Bison into the championship match tomorrow. Stormy?
And what a time to do it. Like you said, it's her second kill of the match. She's waited. They were not expecting that whatsoever. You saw the defense rush up a little bit, getting ready for defense, a defensive hit, but then Buell took it over on 2, and what a time to do so.
Oklahoma Baptist in 4 sets comes away with the victory in this second semifinal match of the night. They did a great job on offense, did a good job on defense. Caitlin Bradley really shined for Arkansas Tech, and the Golden Suns made it a 4-set match, but ultimately it was Oklahoma Baptist winning its 17th match of the season, and it will move on into the championship. 2 undefeated teams for the first time in GAC tournament history will meet on Sunday here on the GAC Sports Network. We'll see you then.